What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some Chicago Bulls news and rumors to discuss ahead of our next game against the Indiana Pacers, only a few hours away now. We'll be discussing all about it in this video, but before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls news, as well all-star celebrations to continue for the Chicago Bulls, and also the rumors that have been going around about the trade deadline. I said I would eventually make a video, another one about it, and today we're going to be discussing two topics that I feel many of you guys might be interested in. First things first, let's talk about the All-Star celebration, ladies and gentlemen. We have now been given official confirmation that Zach Lavine will be an All-Star reserve for the All-Star game. Very well expected. I think everybody expected Zach Lavine to be there. He's been one of the best, if not the best, shooting guard in the league at times for the NBA. And rightfully so, he is in the All-Star game. Congratulations to Zach Lavine. I hope that we can get that moment. I've always been talking about that moment. I want that moment with Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan guarding each other one-on-one. That'd be an amazing sight to see, and hopefully we get to see it. Of course, if things don't turn out that way and their teammates, that's fine as well. But to see those two Chicago Bulls players on the first seeded Eastern Conference team being All-Stars is fantastic to see, and all I could do is sit here and smile and praise the Chicago Bulls players in DeMar DeRozan and Zach Lavine. Again, I said this with Aidan, I said this with DeMar. You have to celebrate these moments, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, they're minor moments in the grand scheme of things, but for individual players to get individual accolades, it still should be a big part of our Chicago Bulls season, and it should still be appreciated by the fans and by everyone who voted him in, and also the coaching staff and the players that voted him in as well. He rightfully deserves to be in that conversation. So congratulations to Zach Lavine, and I wish you nothing but the best in that All-Star game. Hopefully you can show out with your teammate DeMar DeRozan. Moving into the rumors, I guess you could say, part of this video, we're going to first be talking about Paul Millsap, ladies and gentlemen. He's on the verge of potentially being traded to, I guess, any team in the NBA, really. It has actually been rumored that Paul Millsap wants to be traded to Chicago. Obviously, in the whole grand scheme of things of his free agency, his destination was the Brooklyn Nets. That was his first choice, but a close second choice, according to Paul Millsap, was the Chicago Bulls, and he would like to be traded over here. There are a few interesting things in this situation. First things first, you have to look at if the Chicago Bulls want Paul Millsap, because at the end of the day, if the Chicago Bulls are not interested in that type of player, then the conversation is dead and buried there, and we won't really be seeing much of Paul Millsap on the Chicago Bulls anytime soon. You also need to consider if Brooklyn wants to help another rival in terms of the Eastern Conference. Just because Paul Millsap does not play on that Brooklyn Nets team does not mean that he would not come here and get some good minutes as well and perform very well for us. Sometimes, as I always like to say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. If Brooklyn want to throw him to the curb and kick him to the curb and trade him to Chicago, who could very well be the answer that we're looking for our season. So, all things considered, do the Brooklyn Nets really want to help out the Chicago Bulls? If they do, that's going to be great for us if we really want Paul Millsap. If those things align, then I think a trade could definitely get done. If those things don't align and either Brooklyn don't want to help us or the Chicago Bulls don't want Paul Millsap, and I guess the third thing is Millsap doesn't want to come here, if that's a possibility, then we might not see Paul Millsap on the Chicago Bulls. My, I guess, feeling on the situation is it's all down to our court. I think Brooklyn would want to trade with us out of respect for Paul Millsap, who wanted to probably come here as that close second. I think Brooklyn have enough respect to probably trade him to Chicago, but also we do need to consider maybe the Chicago Bulls just simply do not want him. And if that's the case, I find it hard to believe that he'll end up coming here in terms of the trade deadline. Moving into something else, ladies and gentlemen, moving into, I guess, a team that I do like to talk about a lot, to be honest, the Boston Celtics. Apparently, the Chicago Bulls are very interested in the likes of Dennis Schröder, who plays for the Boston Celtics. Now, Schröder's in a very funny predicament. Obviously, he came into the season expecting a lot more money than what he got, but at the end of the day, he could not get that type of money. So now he's on less money for a one-year deal, and he's currently playing on the Boston Celtics, who are having an up-and-down season for themselves. it's interesting to see that the Chicago Bulls are at least rumored to be interested in another guard. And I find it hard to believe that it would make sense that we're going for another guard, because when we're fully healthy, we are stacked with guards, ladies and gentlemen. And I find it hard to believe we would want to add one more to the roster. I guess if it's a short-term thing, a 1-month type deal, get Dennis Schröder onto the team for a month, and then we see Caruso and Lonzo return. We move Io back to the bench. We still have Lavine and DeRozan. All of a sudden, we're guard-centric, ladies and gentlemen. So I feel like AK is a little bit smarter than that to go for a 1 year, or I guess a 1 month type of replacement for the Chicago Bulls. But there could be more to this that meets the eye. And I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe we are bringing in Dennis Schröder because we're trying to do another trade as well. I don't know if this has been rumored or not. I guess this is my theory on the situation. But if we bring in Dennis Schröder, does that mean maybe we're looking to trade him for another team for a certain different player that we might need? Or are we bringing in Dennis Schröder and maybe looking to trade Kobe White or another guard for a type of player that we need? That's the only way that this makes sense to me, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, I'm completely lost and kind of confused as to why we would bring Dennis Schröder on the team. I think Dennis Schröder is a great player. I think he could come in and make an impact on this team for sure. But another guard to this team doesn't really help our cause, and I don't think it's the right answer for our season. So that's the only way that I can see it making sense. And to be fair, I would prefer to trade Dennis Schröder over Kobe White if he was to come here, just because of that 1 year deal. We're not going to be paying Dennis Schröder, especially if we have to pay Zach Lavine, and we're looking for big men as well in the free agency period next season. I don't think paying Dennis Schröder is the right answer, I guess, for what we need on this team, especially if we're going to have to pay him next season if he does come here. So my guess is if we bring in Dennis Schröder, it's going to be, I guess, another trade piece to add to another type of deal. I don't know what the deal would incline. Obviously, it might be a bigger player than Dennis Schröder. I'm not really sure. But that's definitely something to look out for. There are so many options and so many ways we could go about this trade deadline. We could simply do nothing, but we could also do a lot in terms of what this trade deadline has to offer us. So that could definitely be something that's, I guess, interesting and worth looking into. But again, I like Dennis Schröder. If we didn't get Lonzo Ball, I would have taken Dennis Schröder on this team. But to have him here for 1 year and then not pay him next year, it's kind of a waste of a trade if we're looking to trade, I guess, Troy Brown Jr. and a second-round pick. But either way, Dennis Schröder is a better player than Troy Brown Jr. So if he does come here, we did get an upgrade on the situation, but it might not be the upgrade that we're all looking for. And I guess that's something we need to have that conversation about. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, those are the two rumors, those are the two topics of discussion that I have for you guys today. Congratulations to Zach Lavine on his All-Star appearance, his second one in his NBA career, and thoroughly deserved both times. Obviously, Paul Millsap situation could be coming here. He might not want to be here. Maybe the Bulls don't want him. So many situations in that area. Maybe the Brooklyn Nets simply don't want to help out the Chicago Bulls. And also the Dennis Schröder situation. The Bulls are interested in Dennis Schröder. But is it for the reasons that we want to believe that he will come here and play? Or is it because we're looking for more trades and maybe he's a bargaining piece for another trade? Interesting conversations, interesting things to point out, and we'll wait and see what will happen. These are the rumors and these are the news for the Chicago Bulls. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Like and subscribe if you're new. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care.